Welcome to Paris for Retromobile and one of the most exciting and prestigious automotive auctions worldwide, here with RM Sotheby's. Amongst some amazing cars, the standout feature is the sale of the 1965 24 Hours of Le Mans winning 250 LM. Will this significant Ferrari sell for 20 million, 30 million, 40 million? We'll find out today. I'm personally interested to see what numbers will be reached for cars like the Bugatti Centodieci, Koenigsegg Agera and the Pagani Huayra R at the auction where the world's uber wealthy come to buy their toys. Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello and welcome back to the channel where, safe to say, there's a lot of money in the room. There's a lot going on. We're starting here though with RM Sotheby's. 250 LM we're going to come back to because there are a number of different car displays. There are two different parts to this. The curated collection featuring all of the cars from one private collector, Lamborghini, Bugatti, Aston Martin and plenty more. And then the other cars that I want to come and show you. In fact, we're going to walk through because there is a complete mixture here up towards the hypercars. The stuff that I'm really curious to see what happens, the likes of the Centodieci. So come on with me, let's go and take a look at these. One of the fun things is that we're in the Salle du Carrousel. We're actually underneath Le Louvre, the famous art museum, with some very different kinds of art, right? In fact, this is a very interesting car because I remember filming it 12 years ago, back in 2013, the Koenigsegg Agera that's nicknamed the Agera X. I rode on board this car at Spa-Francorchamps a decade ago, back in 2015, 5-litre V8, 950 horsepower, and one of only 7 of the regular Agera. The X is kind of a nickname that it's earned over the years. Before, of course, there was the Agera R, the Agera RS, the 1-to-1s, and some amazing cars that Koenigsegg were really getting into their prime with. This, however, is a really intriguing car. The Bugatti Centodieci, which literally translates to 110, a tribute to the EB110, that era of Romano Artioli back in the 90s, based on the Chiron platform. But with only 10 of them, they come up for sale so infrequently that it's very hard to know where it's going to go. It's estimated at 10 to 15 million euros. Will it return that? Remains to be seen a little bit later on. Powered by the 8-litre quad-turbo W16, 1,600 horsepower, but with all of the design and styling cues that link back to the EB110, for example, the design around the front, the smaller horseshoe grille, many other elements, with this car having only covered about 400 kilometres. So it's basically new for somebody to be able to buy. Next up, very close to my heart, obviously, the Ford GT. This is a carbon series with the exposed carbon stripes. The estimate, I would say, is fairly low at 575,000 euros to 625,000, so it will remain to be seen where that actually lands up. But one of the almost signature specifications for the Ford GTs, which you know how much I love with all of the miles that I've driven around the world in mine, this thing is mad. The Pagani Huayra R, one of 30, and I've been lucky to drive one also at Spa as it happens. But this is going to be quite interesting also, because the Arte in Pista program that Pagani offers an amazing experience for customers to be able to drive these cars, to get them out, to go and have fun with the other Huayras on the track. And the V12 just screams. It's 850 horsepower, full carbon, of course, as I think pretty much all of these cars around us are. And the estimate is 2.8 to 3.2 million euros. Next up, something fun you might not have known about this LaFerrari, one of 499 of Ferrari's now over a decade-old hybrid hypercars replaced, or let's say followed up with the F80, is that this is not Giallo Tripostrato, nor is it Giallo Modena. It is called Giallo PPG, PPG being the paint manufacturer. It is a bespoke paint colour for its original customer based in Luxembourg, delivered through Charles Pozzi here in Paris. And this is estimated at 3.5 to 4 million euros. The demand for the LaFerrari is flying up. Of course, V12 engine, huge demand for these kinds of things. This is so much my element here, and to be with these 5 cars, I can't wait to see what they do in not all that long. But there's more to talk about. F1 cars, other racing cars. Let me go pick out some of my highlights. This is a Jacques Villeneuve car being offered by Williams Heritage themselves. It's a 98 FW20 in the Winfield livery, so the year after my show car that I have back at the museum. But this includes the V10 engine. This is going to be an absolute bargain, estimated between 200 to 300,000 euros for a running 90s Formula One car. We are surrounded by greatness. A 1989 Jaguar XJR10. I'm going to come back to the 2 Ferraris in a moment. There's the 2013 Lotus E21 F1 car. This is the 1994 Alfa Romeo 155 V6 Ti DTM, one of 10. This then is the 512 BBLM from 1981. This car raced twice at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, in 81 and in 84. It's one of 25 originally made, of which 16 were upgraded to this, the Series 3 specification. Next to it, however, is one of the biggest cars of this sale, the 512M. Again, one of 25, only 15 of which were upgraded to this, the M Modificato specification. Again, a 2-times racer at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, originally delivered in 1970 to Écurie-Francorchamps. In fact, it was the last sports prototype that they took delivery of before its second race that followed at Le Mans as well. And this is a car, well, it's the only one that was delivered in Giallo, with some amazing racing history, and no doubt going to fetch some big money with an estimate of 9 to 12 million euros. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that does. Two very different black, lovely cars. The 507, estimate around $1 million, absolutely stunning. Then one of my favorites of more recent times, the Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione. This car actually previously belonged to a friend and is being sold now by another friend. One of the 500 Competiziones and one of the prettiest modern supercars ever made. The 4.7 V8 sounds amazing and it just looks stunning. Lovely little Abarth 208A Spider. We've driven here in my 15-year-old Abarth, but I want to show you some of the highlights very quickly, right? Just pick out a few cars while we're here because it would take forever to go through everything. 3-litre CSL Batmobile, one of the most famous BMW race cars. CLK DTM Cabriolet, one of only 80. There were going to be 100 of them. They only made 80 in total. We've got the 575 Super America with the folding glass roof, one of 559 of those. The 246 Dino comes up next. I think as time goes by, these are getting even better and better. Next comes the Lamborghini Countach LP400, the original wedge shape of the Lamborghini Countach that they've carried through all the way to today. There are so many different cars here, different kinds of things. There's something for everyone, but I want to go and show you in the other hall. There are a lot of lovely cars in the room. I'm distracted. 250 GTE, then next a 365 GT 2+2, 365 GTC4, some beautiful Aston Martins as well. In fact, that is a DB6 shooting brake that they made right there. In fact, that DB5 beside it is stunning as well. This is immaculate. A couple of Lamborghinis lurking behind as well, the Espada, for example. Right, onwards, let's head through. Oh, 599 GTO just up there. The shooting brakes continue. This is the Flying Star. I remember seeing this back at the time. Touring Superleggera, taking the Bentley Continental GT, and again, giving it that 3-door hatchback style. Welcome to the curated collection. All of these cars from one owner going under the hammer with no reserve. We have the likes of a GT3 RS 4-litre. We've got the GT2 RS Club Sport, one of 200. Now the GT2 RS, I mean, this is Porsche paradise, quite literally, with all of the different cars around us. Lots of the older models as well, you know, 996s, 928s, 944s, you name it, just about everything, plus some other cars dotted around the room as well. I love this. Just taking a nosy around, look at the Speedster collection here as well, the different generations of the 911 Speedsters. Oh, and a very nice Mustang Fastback lurking back there as well. Big fan of that. I had to come and take a better look at this. It's a 1967 Shelby GT350. Traditional color scheme, the white with the blue racing stripes. Just one day, something like that, to drive across the US. Proper road trip. That would be my kind of style. This is the car that we have come to see. This is the flagship of the RM Sotheby's Paris sale. The 250 LM, not just even any 250 LM. This is the car that was victorious in the 1965 24 Hours of Le Mans. This is the last Ferrari to have won that legendary race for half a century before they return in 2023 at the 100th anniversary with the 499P. But that makes this the last V12 winner. This is the car that kicked off the Ford versus Ferrari story. Think about this. Back in 1965, Henry Ford wanted to beat this car. That was the first year the GT40s ran at the famous circuit. The next year, of course, it became all about Ford. They won 4 years on the trot, 66, 67, 68, and 69. But this was what they were really trying to take down. And it's a car that actually even lends design cues to the modern cars. Look at this rear section, for example, the arches, the intake scoops, and the bridge across the back. Very familiar in the modern 296 GTB and GTS as well. But when it comes to history, and I love a story around a car, I love understanding how motorsport influences so much. You know, race on Sunday, sell cars on Monday. This was Enzo Ferrari, really and truly, back at that time, in the prime. Now, to date, the record auction sale for a Ferrari stands at a 250 GTO that also sold with RM Sotheby's for $51,750,000. Will this go that high? Remains to be seen, because if you want the last winning Ferrari of that era in motorsport, It's this car. It's not another 250 LM, it's this exact one. This is the car that took the top step at the podium back in that year, and to be in its presence is special. My guess, if I was to estimate at this time, I think maybe in the 30 million, something like that, 30-something million euros. But it's not going to be long until we find out. So I'm going to be right back here tomorrow for the auction in this video to see what happens with the 250 LM. We have arrived at Retromobile. The hall's here. That's quite a fun entry. Anyway, let's come over here, go inside, go see what we can find. This is kind of cool. There are manufacturers, there are all sorts of trade stands and different third parties. Oh, there's an RM Sotheby stand. Okay, we're going there. There's a Monza SP2. This is exclusive car registry, heaven. Love the classic minis. ECR stuff, Porsche have a stand. All the big OEMs actually do as well, which is kind of new to me. Ooh, Zonda Tricolore. Monza SP2, beautiful colour scheme on that. Acid green 918 as well, one of the 6. This is, oh, this is cool. I wasn't expecting so much interesting stuff around. Diablo. Gonna come and take a look at this. This was Michael Schumacher's 355 GTS. Beautiful specification as well. Some of these sealed, the private sales. I think it's got a signature on the back of one of the seats. Yep, on the back of the driver's seat. Spot that over there. Lovely, that's a really, really nice 355 as they go. Never going to say no to the GT40s and the Cobras, Shelby American. That's the same livery as the winner back at Le Mans, 66 obviously. The Ford versus Ferrari game continues. Look at these. F1 car, early 90s, late 80s style. Look at those as well. Oh, I love that, the red Mustang, Bugatti style here. 250 GTO. Wow, that's cool artwork. Kick starting in style here with Joe Macari. 177, know that car from before, I think originally a French car. DB5 convertible, SLR Roadster, beautiful Dino. Ooh, MC12, and there's a LaFerrari beyond. And it gets big down there. F1, Valkyrie, F1 GTR. We're gonna go around. Firstly though, that is a very, very nice spec. That's a 1 of 50 Maserati MC12. Sister car of the Enzo, of course. Quite a big crowd though. Oh, nice. 275, Ferrari right behind. Wow. A reveal to come of what is clearly a McLaren F1 under the covers there here at Kidston. Anyway, we'll come back and see that as well a little bit later. I can't believe how this just goes on and on. There are lots of cool cars everywhere. We have kindly been offered the opportunity to come to Le Cercle Retromobile thanks to Supercar Owners Circle. So we're coming to the area here where we can head inside. Very nice of the SOC team to arrange that. Gerardo and Co have the 512 TR Spider. That's one of only 2 in existence of those. I mean, on a stand with countless other epic bits of machinery. It's had a 550 GT1 as well. Also very, very cool. I mean, there's so many cool cars around here. I don't even know how many F40s there are here, and 300 SLs. There just seem to be lots of both, and a few Dinos around as well. But just even modern classics and everything you can imagine. This is actually becoming a really serious event to come and explore. Looking at different models, 1 to 18 or even larger of cars is always interesting, especially with these, because you have to imagine that each of these cars, or at least the models, have been done in specs to match real cars. That Monza SP1, for example, is mega. There are some peculiar derivatives, like that Daytona SP3 down there. We've got a couple of SF90s. Not going to be long until mine's arrived, and then I will, of course, need to purchase one of these to match it in the same specification. It's got all the different models, the cavalcade liveries and things as well. All of these. I remember when they introduced the two-tone paint for the SF90 Spider out at the Abu Dhabi F1 a couple of years ago. Spend lots of time looking at different models. 812 Comp in Viola, Hong Kong. Very nice. This is a very unusual car here. A wide body, I think Liberty Walk, Murcielago, yes indeed, Liberty Walk, with the Japanese bolt-on fenders, slammed to the ground, massive wheels. There's something a little bit different about that to just about everything else in this room. We do also have another nice Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione. What I love here is how many people are checking out the cars back there, which we're going to go in and have a look at in the moment. There's a Valkyrie just tucked at the back, but that's the star of the show. That's a 250 Cal Spider, long wheelbase, Ferrari, California. That is, yeah, really at the very top of the game, best of the best. But I want to come in and show you around a little bit what else Messina Classics have here. Well, how about that for a lineup? This is the Nibbio, the Ferrari 599 GTZ by Zagato. I think there are only 11 of those, perhaps. Then we've got the Senna in the Marlboro livery. Obviously, a couple of them painted to match the old famous McLaren F1 paint colour. We've then got a 1 of 25 Gambala Mirage GT, the Carrera GTs on absolute steroids. Before, we have the Aston Martin Valkyrie Spider, one of the 85 Spiders, but look at that paint colour. That purple is glorious, combined with the silver detailing, the satin silver and the gloss purple paint, obviously just sitting right down. That is truly breathtaking. The removable roof panels. One of 2 purple Valkyries that are here, but this specification, wow. It's all quite busy, but just look, Porsche race cars, everything here. Can't get better. F40 sandwich between Diablos actually, but I want to come round to show you what's lurking in the middle. We have a 1 of 75 Mercedes SLR McLaren Sterling Moss, and then just beyond it, we have an AMG 1. I'm going to squeeze through and come take a look at this. I have a very soft spot for the AMG 1, and just bringing that F1 engine into a road car with the brief of a Mercedes, with the Motorsports livery, the painted stars. 2 different generations of Mercedes Hypercar. Oh, and look, another Murcielago tucked in right there, LP640. That's cool, isn't it? Ignoring the Stratos here in the Alitalia livery, which is very cool in its own right, look at the Ferraris behind. 375 Pininfarina Barchetta, 250 Testarossa, 250 SWB. That is quite an extraordinary trio. I finally got to this side of the Joe Macari stand. I mean, there's a 275 GTB. Then we have F1 GTR, chassis 16R, I think that is, in the Fina livery. And then we have my friend Passen's Valkyrie, Arnamos, the car that came to visit this museum, in fact. That car has been at my garage, which is quite crazy to think. It's now here in some pretty epic company on one of the best stand displays that's here, in fact. There are many of these things. We have another Monza SP2, loving the tricolore stripe. Behind is a Porsche 908. In the middle here is a very unusual colour on the Bugatti EB110, but I want to come around this side because we have another Aston Martin shooting brake. This is a DB5, I believe, but then next to it is an F40, which has been often seen around London. This is in Azzurro Hyperion, and I am all for creating unique specs with these kinds of cars. It's been repainted, and it's very similar to Celeste Metallizzato, which is an original Ferrari paint colour from the classics. There's a Viper race car tucked in behind, but I think that looks really nice. It's always good to have another encounter with the famous Mercedes C111, the Gullwing. I've actually filmed with this in quite a few different countries now. It's been featuring on the radar at many different events, but it's a very, very special car. The original supercar, a Lamborghini Miura. Tell you what, that is very low. It's also quite an unusual spec because it is green paint over a green leather interior. This is a pairing that I am really quite excited about, especially that car, which we'll come to in just a second, because this was the 2007 GT1 class winner at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Seems to be a bit of a theme today, and this particular car, Chassis 10, has a very strange accolade because it has taken part in 1 race and it has 1 victory at a level as high as the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Name another car in the comments down below that has achieved something quite like that. Anyway, the car alongside it, I last saw covered in tyre marks all over the front, bugs and all sorts, having just returned from the 2017 24 Hours of Le Mans, where this car, chassis 5 of the Vantage GT8, won GTE Pro at Le Mans as well. In fact, it was parked right alongside my GT8, which is the road-going version of this, driven by Darren Turner, Johnny Adam and Daniel Serra to victory in its class at that race. And now here, seeing it again, what are we, nearly 8 years later. Very, very cool. That was a nice surprise. And in fact, I'm just going to put my camera around here because look what's on the other side. Yes, there's a Pagani Zonda R right there. The race version of the Zonda, just looking pretty on this side. In fact, I think we need to go see what else is around that side. But yeah, not bad. Back to back, those cars, eh? There's a Koenigsegg CCR next to another Monza SP2, and then the Zagato Twintail from La Squadra. Ah, it's La Squadra's stand. That makes sense. Hence why we have these looking really cool together. Monzas seem to be one of the modern hypercars of the show, really. On the one side, Murcielago SV. On the other side, Ruby Star, which is the colour that we are doing on our 914. And obviously it launched on this, the 964 Carrera RS. And look what's tucked in here, another Ferrari 250 LM. Some of the rarest cars in the world, and been lucky enough to see 2 of them today. I have ventured back to the Kidston stand where we have none other than the McLaren F1. This car started its life out in Japan, then went to Hong Kong before I think coming over to the UK. It's got 1,290 kilometers on it, which is both amazing in that it's in incredible condition, but also in a way I would have preferred it to have been driven just a little bit more. Either way, it's very, very special to spend any time around a car like a McLaren F1. Now I want to squeeze through over here because they have also just shown this Bugatti Veyron in the chocolate metallic paint, which has entered the portfolio. 16.4 coupe original car, very unusual spec as well. I think it's got dark brown leather interior to match with the exterior, dual tone brown paintwork. Probably a one of one when it comes to these things. Then over this side is a very nice example of McLaren P1, of course sitting down in its race mode, special commission chrome titanium paintwork, one of one paint colour. Some pretty spectacular cars around the Kidston stand. I was just about to get excited about the SLS AMG in Daytona Blue, because I've always had a soft spot for this colour. It's a little bit different to the Mystic Blue that I repainted my SLS Black Series in, but alongside it is another AMG one. This car is a French resident car. It is in Cirrus Silver Metallic, and I have to know this stuff because of course I'm browsing our platform exclusive car registry. I'm literally walking around here, looking at a car, searching for it online, and then sharing some interesting information with you guys. But two AMG ones on display at this show. This is very, very nice. I like them. I like them a lot. I'm not afraid to say it. Today is the day. We are back at RM Sotheby's. We're about to have the Hypercars coming up, and then this is going to be crossing the block, the 250 LM. Let's get inside and go see what happens. Welcome then to the auction room. This is where it's going to be happening. Up there, you've got the telephone lines, you've got a lot of people in the room. We'll try and find a spot to watch from. We'll catch some of the cars and some of the bidding very shortly in this very, very full room, ready for today's auction to get underway in Paris. Kicking things off today, we've got Automobilia, so an F50 toolkit right now. Actually F50s, with the way their values are going. I'm not surprised to see this hitting some decent money, because if you want to complete your car, yeah, 13,000 euros before fees. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But spotters all around the room to make sure that every bid gets seen and marked properly. A quick run through here. The Roof CTR, the 360 Challenge, all of these cars obviously are about to go. So while all the Automobilia is up for sale at the moment, I want to come and just see what the feeling is like in the room, right, with all of these 512M we're going to see shortly. And then of course we've got Centodieci, the Agera, the GT, the Huayra R and the LaFerrari all coming right up. Coming up now then, the Ford GT, estimate 575 to 625.
And what should we say, 300,000 anyone? 300,000, thank you, 300,000.
First bid is it?
320, thank you. 320, 350 now, 350, 380, 480 now, just ahead of the online bid.
There are a lot of bidders in the room. I can see at least 3 or 4 hands going up.
500, any more bids? 500 I have. The 540,000. Any more bids? The 540, internet trying to get in. We're at 540 now.
Well, I'm not going to lie, I hope this goes for a little bit more. Not great for GT values. Yes. If that sells, obviously this is hammer price here.
Try one more.
For 560, there's fees and everything on top of that.
570.
A bit of 570, so we're nearly at reserve, but I'd like to have seen this go through 6. So let's see which way it's going to go.
With 570,000 euros, any further bids at 570, we are sold.
Sold for 570,000. That's surprisingly inexpensive for a Ford GT. Oof. Well, a lucky buyer just got a fantastic deal on this Ford GT. Carbon series, very low mileage, really nice spec as we saw earlier, and now of course heading it to a new home. Next up though, I think that I'm going to be paying attention to is the Williams FW20. So let's get back in the room.
The 1988 Williams FW20 secured Williams third place in the 1998 Formula One Constructors World Championship, and chassis raced by reigning Formula One Drivers' World Champion at the time, Jacques Villeneuve, in 3 Grand Prix.
Here we go.
100,000. Tom, your seats are over here.
100k, let's see where this lands.
100,000. Any more bids at 100,000? 100,000. The maiden bid, 120,000. My book is clear. 120, I think over there somewhere. Total 120,000. Any more bids? Any more bids? 120,000. 150.
150. Okay, it took a slow start there, but we started moving.
160,000.
That's awesome for 160k.
Are we
Let's
done?
see.
160.
Let's keep going.
I have the bid. 170,000. 180,000. Are we done? Are we sure? You're absolutely sure over here at 190,000 euros. And thank you to our friends at Williams Heritage. 190,000 euros. 190,000.
190. Interesting, that's a good value running F1 car. This is about to be up then. The Bugatti Centodieci, 110. And that will immediately be followed by the Koenigsegg Agera. And these are, of course, two cars that I'm fascinated by to see what happens. This has been for sale in recent times, so it'll be interesting to see if that correlates across to the auction price. And of course, this car has been around for a while, and it's an unusual one given it's done 20,000 kilometers. But should that affect a car like this? In my mind, it means it's been driven properly. Things that needed to be replaced and upgraded have been. So we'll head back to the auction room and go see what happens. We actually have the DTM cab right now, and I'm kind of interested to see what this does, so we'll keep our eyes on it.
The 425, the car is sold.
Sold at 425 euros. Ready for a big one. Bugatti Centodieci, the first time a Centodieci has ever gone to auction.
The 2022 Bugatti Centodieci. Where should we start? 5 million? 5 million. Thank you.
5 million is bid.
5 million. 5.5 million. 5.5 million. Over here. 7 million. That's more like it, sir. Thank you. We've been helping us a lot the last 2 days. It's 7 million. Any more? Try another one. 7 I have. 7.5 against the
There's
online.
There's a different kind of feeling in the room right now. The quietness, waiting to see where this goes, who bids, what the number will be. So it's 8.8, waiting for a bid online.
8.9 million euros. 8.9 million. At 8.9 million. 8.9 million. 9 million. There we go. Thank you. At 9 million euros with Stefan. At 9 million euros. At 9 million euros now. At 9 million now. We're saying no at 9 million. We're done at 9 million. Thank you. Pass. Thank you. 9 million.
Oh, unsold. 9 million doesn't reach the reserve. Centodieci, unfortunately, no sale today. We go straight into the Koenigsegg. Agera is up, so let's see what happens. Bidding opened at 1 million. Oh, in again.
1.5. You do have a wonderful way of bidding, sir.
Jump to 1.5
million. 1.5. 1.6 at the back.
There are all sorts of bids around the room.
Try another one, sir. 1.6 with Tony. Any more bids at 1.6 million with Tony? 1.6 now. 1.7. Try another one, Tony. 1.7.
Estimate began at 1.8, so this is actually flying.
Try another one. We have 1.7 with Stefan.
Feels like there are a few bids in the room and on the phone.
At 1.7 million with Stefan's bid. The car is selling here at RM Sotheby's. The car is sold. 1.7 million.
1.7 million plus the fees and things, remember, so that takes it close to 2 million. Close to 2 million euros. Agera is sold. This is the 599 GTO. Estimate 700 to 850.
Are you going to say no?
Are we going to have a final bid?
720. You're out.
Or is it going to sell?
720. Your car. 700.
Sold at 720. So it probably just reaches 800, a little over 800 with fees. Getting ready for the 512M, another of the Halo lots. This is an exciting one to see.
One of just 25 Ferrari 512 race cars constructed between 1970 and 71.
So they're looking for 5 million to get things started. Yep, rolling at 5 million.
5 million.
So this was estimate 9 to 12.
5.5. 5.5. 6 million. Are we coming in? But we're at 6.6 million. 6.7 million. 6.7 million. 6.8 million. There we go. That's more like it. 6.8 million. 7.3 million. Well, a 7.3. Are we done, ladies and gentlemen? A 7.3 million against Gus's phone. A 7.3 million. Pass the lot. Thank you. 7.3.
Oh, 7.3, unfortunately, did not meet reserve. It's time for this then, the LaFerrari. Let's see what it does.
Ferrari.
Here we go.
In coupe form.
Giallo Laf.
Specified.
What a cool car.
Finishing bespoke.
FXX
Giallo
wheels, by the way.
Nero roof over a matching black
Just kind
and
of extra
yellow
cool.
interior.
I should say FSX
Two
K
owners from
Evo.
you. Oh, thank you, Cyrus. 2.5 million as my
Straight in at 2.5. Worth pointing out, this is plus VAT. This is the ex-VAT price, so you need to add 20% as well as the
fees. At the back with Tony.
And auction.
Thank you, Tony. You've been busy. We're keeping you busy today, aren't we, Tony? At 2.8 million. 3 million on the telephone here. 3 million euros. We are going to sell at 3.15. Going for the first time at 3.15. Going for the second time at 3.15 million. Anders going for the third and final time at 3.15. The car is sold. 3.15 million.
There we go, sold on the phone, 3.15. Look forward to seeing where that heads. I think with VAT and fees, that works out at low 4s, maybe 4.3-ish, thereabouts. LaFerrari, 512 BBLM coming up.
Ferrari 512 BBLM,
Series 3.
Constructed, believed to be one of only 6.
Should be a million or two. That was 1.6. But now we go to the Huayra R.
The 2022 Pagani Huayra R.
This is already at 2.1 million euros and moving.
We're at 2.1.
We get into the higher twos.
For the Pagani, at 2.1 million I'm bid. Any further bids? 2.1 to 2.2 million now. Thank you, sir, at 2.2 million. Are we done? At 2.2 million, 2.3 million, Will, just in time. At 2.3 million, at 2.3 on the telephone, at 2.3, at 2.4, at 2.4 now, 2.5 million. Your turn
moving,
now,
we're at 2.5.
2.5, Will's telephone. And going for the third and final time at 2.7 million euros. Your car, 2.7 million euros.
2.7. One last look at the 250 LM in its current ownership. This car is about to be sold. This unbelievable piece of Ferrari and 24 Hours of Le Mans history is about to belong to a new owner. Let's get back in the room and watch it happen. Now the excitement in here. Look at the number of phones that have popped out. Everybody wants to see what happens with this. The highlight auction of the lot. 250 LM.
This is the moment we've all, I think, been waiting for. The 1964 Ferrari 250 LM Silver. And well, where shall we start? How do you start a lot like this? Do we start with 14 million euros? Does that get people going? At 14 million euros anywhere. At 14 million euros anywhere. Where's the bid? Hitting 14 million. I'm bid. Thank you, sir. 14 million euros. Any further bids at 14 million? At 15, 16. 16 I've taken from our friend James. So 18 million. 18 million. 18 million. Where's the bid? 20 million. Thank you, sir. Hope you had a good dinner last night. 20 million. 22 million. 22 million. 23 million. Any more now? 23. At 23. At 23. 24 million. Thank you, sir. 25 million. 25 million. At 25 million. The car is absolutely on sale, ladies and gentlemen. At 25 million. Imagine the dinner party story. At 25 million. Try 26, sir. The Le Mans winner. 26 million. 27 million. The Le Mans winner, sir. 28 million. 28 million. 30 million euros. 30 million euros. for the 250 LM Le Mans winner. 31 million. 31 million euros. 31 million euros going for the first time here in Paris. 31 million euros going for the second time here in Paris. 31 million euros going for the third and final time, and sold by RM Sotheby's for the wonderful Indianapolis Motor Museum at 31 million euros. The car is sold.
Wow. Absolutely incredible.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all of your support. Enjoy the rest of Retromobile. We look forward to seeing you at future events. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The last bit of quiet time then, with the now over 30 million euro Ferrari of the 60s. The hammer came down at 31 million on the nose. With fees, that comes in at 34,880,000 euros for a one of one. There's no other. This is the car that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans. When it comes to Le Mans history, when it comes to Ferrari history, this is a very special thing. We've been lucky to witness the sale of it after over 50 years in its previous ownership, now heading to a new home, who knows where in the world. The Ferrari 250 LM here at RM Sotheby's in Paris. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. That's it for this time though, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.